Our lone undefeated player still.
Some spicy one-ups here in Zach's Infect deck. 1 Flusterstorm, 1 Spell Pierce, 1 Stifle in the main.
Does he still have the Teferi's response? Yes, it's still on the board. Yes.
Wow. All right.
I hope we get to see that happen.
And especially something like Stifle is not necessarily something that Bryant will be playing around.
You know, Tom Ross has played one of those in his decks on occasion when playing Infect, so not too surprising to see people adopt that one. It can be a blowout at times, and people certainly don't play around it from Infect. Zach taking a long look at his hand. If you're familiar with Bryant Koch at all, you know what he's playing. He plays the same deck every tournament and has been for over 2 years. And Zach seems pretty sharp in Legacy. So I think he knows what he's up against. It's going to influence his mulligan decisions.
Yeah, 2 people, artists of their own craft here.
I think Zachary's just looking at his hand saying, how fast can I kill you? Because it has to be really fast. I don't have time to ponder and brainstorm and all that nonsense.
Yeah, the cantrips are weaker. He can keep a permission heavy hand. He has enough of it that he could slow Bryant down.
Bryant, I believe, is going to keep his opening hand. He is sitting here rather patiently, so.
Zachary down to 6. Now, because of these matchups being as fast as they are, mulliganing is not as punishing here. Games will routinely end with one player having extra cards in their hand. More so, I guess, on the case of Zach. Bryant will use all his cards when he combos. But on Zach's side, yeah, I think it's once again a quality rather than quantity thing.
Zach taking a mulligan again. He's on the play. He rolled an 11 during the die roll to Koch's 7.
All right. So being on the play here does open the door to Zach racing. He's on average a turn slower than the Storm deck, somewhere around there. So when he's on the draw, I think he's much more inclined to keep the counterspell heavy hands. On the play, if he has a hand with multiple pump spells, he can forego counterspells to just try and race Bryant. There's still some risks that he'll be duressed and then his combo will be taken away. But a turn 2 or turn 3 kill from Zach when he's on the play may be enough to get the job done. That said, we'll see what he gets to start out with. A lot of pressure on cards like, I think, Glistener Elf may be one of his more important cards here.
Zach will take a look at it. Looks like he's going to keep that 6. He's on the play.
There is no removal and no blockers in Bryant's deck, so a Glistener Elf just has free reign to attack.
Cataxian Probe will show you a hand of Cataxian Probe, 2 Lionside Diamonds, a Brainstorm, a Duress. Polluted Delta, Volcanic Island.
A reasonable hand from Bryant. So the 2 Lion's Eye Diamonds means he'll have plenty of mana when he finds his payoff spell, depending on what it is. He also has a Duress to help slow down Zach's fast draws, and then Gitaxian Probe and Brainstorm to reload things. It's a good start for Bryant. Ideally, he's 1 Infernal Tutor from having a very fast combo here. Yes, could have up to 7 mana on his first turn. That's enough to ad nauseum on turn 1, were he to say top deck Infernal Tutor.
Glistener Elf for Zachary, and we're going to head Bryant's way. Or excuse me, Noble Hierarch.
And look at the draw here from Zachary. I mean, if that was a Glistener Elf, we'd be looking at a possible turn 2 kill.
Yes, we would be.
This is still a strong mulligan from Zachary. 2 Invigorates, a Vines, and a Daze. Rite of Flame was one of the pickups for Bryant. More mana is always welcome, but it's not the thing he was short on right now.
Volcanic Island is where Bryant will start. We'll go back Zachary's way. Daze the draw.
And remember, Zachary's land is a basic forest. Those 2 dazes aren't cards as of yet.
There's an attack for 1. We're going basic damage.
Well, he could decide to attack there. He could also have left up the Noble Hierarch for the hard cast of Days, which, yeah, sounds horrible, but it may be what he needs to do. So he has no place. If Bryant can combo this turn, he will get it.
Cabal Therapy, the draw. Cabal Therapy is pretty good, actually. Here's a Ponder.
Yeah, if Bryant can't combo, he can just tear Zachary's hand apart. If he takes both Invigorates, Zach's clock is almost non-existent.
Yeah, his hand is pretty poor then.
Yeah, Zachary kept his hand on the upside that if he drew an Infector, this hand could have been a turn 2 kill. As it is, it didn't pay off, and that may cost him the first game.
Pluto Delta going to be sacrificed here by Bryant. He'll search up an Underground Sea.
And I believe the Invigorates will hit the bin right now.
Yeah, it's either time for, I mean, it's definitely time for a discard spell.
Yeah, I mean, if Bryant really feels confident, there's no Infector in play yet, he could just take the Dazes.
Yeah.
And yeah,
I actually like taking the Dazes here because those green cards don't matter.
Yeah, I mean, the danger is if Zachary draws an island, then he can cast both Dazes, which he did do.
Yeah. Picked up a copy of Verdant Catacombs, which can turn into a tropical island. But here, when you're Bryant, you know every card in your opponent's hand, 2 Invigorates and a Defiance of Asphodel, so you have to play it around nothing. And if you draw Infernal Tutor or Burning Wish, the game is probably over.
Well, what I think happens, and this hurts, is that I think Zachary vines with kickers his Hierarch and swings.
Deal some damage.
Well, because it's a 4-mana pump spell with Exalted, so then if Zachary draws another land, he can start hard casting the Invigorates, and it is a 3-turn clock. It's a really ugly 3-turn clock. And we talked about this before with Storm as well. Zachary getting in any incidental damage that he can will hurt an ad nauseum that Bryant may have. So by putting him at 9, you're forcing Bryant to maybe go for a Past in Flames style kill.
Here's a Ponder for Bryant. Take a look at a couple of them. Another Lion's Eye Diamond, a Duress in there, a Lotus Petal 2. Don't think that's what the doctor ordered, so he's going to shuffle. A mystery card coming.
Yeah, he's looking for that payoff. Something, yeah, Infernal Tutor would be great. Burning Wish would be great. Remember, with another land drop, Zachary has Bryant dead in 2 attacks.
Bloodstained Mire, the draw. Here's a Brainstorm.
I really like Bryant's use of cantrips here. Picks up another Rite of Flame. Yeah, no shortage of mana.
Just needs the payoff.
Right, so if he finds something like a Burning Wish, he can make a ton of mana. Burning Wish for Past in Flames, get even more mana, go to town. He may have enough rituals that he could just Burning Wish for Tendrils and Tendrils. He may have a high enough Storm for that.
2 cards have gone back from Brainstorm. I think we'll see the Bloodstained Mire here in just a second. Yep. That'll allow him to shuffle away the nonsense, go down to 8.
Remember, Invigorate, not a free pump spell if you're dealing regular damage, which is what Zachary's doing. His hand is 2 Invigorates.
Ah, the Storm counter. That's horrible news. And it's a Rite of Flame. It's go time.
What is the card that Bryant found? Here's a Rite of Flame, another Rite of Flame.
Lion's Eye Diamond times 2. Empty the Warrens.
Sure.
Probably plenty fine.
Well, if Zachary's trying to kill him with regular damage, this is going to do quite a job of blocking things.
For Zachary right now, he needs to draw exactly Blighted Agent. Well, excuse me, Blighted Agent or Inkmoth Nexus.
Right, so it puts pressure on Zachary to draw one of those 2 cards. Bryant, despite using his whole hand...
Oh, never mind.
Oh, right. Sacks a Goblin to the Therapy.
Yeah, never mind. Name Invigorate. Okay.
For Bryant, all it takes is still now for him to find 1 Infernal Tutor or 1 Burning Wish. He still gets to combo, but he's bought himself just a slew of turns.
Well, I mean, for me, for what Bryant did, he did combo. He doesn't need to draw anything else to win the game. He's got 11 creatures on the battlefield. It's 2 attacks.
Sure. So able to take care of the Invigorates.
Here come 11 goblins.
13, I believe.
Oh, excuse me, 13. Yeah, Zachary down to 4. A Lotus Petal. You draw a Burning Wish and Infernal Tutor? Sure.
Sure, and this should be enough for him to... He can Infernal Tutor for Burning Wish for Tendrils.
Yeah.
Yep.
Then he can cast Burning Wish with the Lotus Petal and the Volcanic Island, Burning Wish on the stack, crack both LEDs, float the mana, cast the Tendrils.
Exactly.
And that's what he's going to do.
Third Storm, yep, but down the stack, he'll make 6 mana. At least 3 of it will be black. And Burning Wish should find that Tendrils to bring us to game 2.
Bryant Koch going to win Gainer 1 against Zachary Koch in the cook-off. Storm up a game over Infect as we now do turn our attention to the sideboard here. We will start with Zachary and his Infect deck. See if he has any ways to interact here with Bryant and his Storm deck.
All right, well, he did have a fair amount of permission in the main, and he just gets to add to that after sideboard. He has a Dispel, a Flusterstorm, and a Force of Will, all in the sideboard, so those should help him out in the matchup. Outside of that, I think we're going to see more of Game 1's strategy, just trying to augment his Infect plan with a little more blue spell backup.
Other side of things here for Bryant Koch, he's got a Burning Wish package in his sideboard that we're pretty familiar with at this point, especially if you watch the deck tech from yesterday on our coverage page. The Void Snare, the Past in Flames, the Empty the Warrens, the Tendrils of Agony, a Massacre, Dark Petition. He's also got 3 Abrupt Decays, 3 Xantid Swarms, 2 Chain of Vapors, and then a Bayou. I don't expect crazy changes here. I do like Abrupt Decay a bit in the matchup. I like Chain of Vapor in the matchup a little bit as well, but I don't expect any massive overhauls here.
Yeah, when he's on the draw, Abrupt Decay seems pretty reasonable. One of the ways that Zach can get these games is if he just has an early Infector and a bunch of pump spells. We saw there, that kind of hand with 2 Invigorates would have been great if he had the early Infector. Now, Abrupt Decay is not the end-all in the matchup. Vines of Vastwood still does take care of it. But that said, I think Bryant will go toward the Abrupt Decays. Anything else, like Xantid Swarms or Chain of Vapors, I don't know if I see them happening as much.
Yeah, I don't see a huge need for any major overhauls here for Bryant. So I don't expect much sideboarding here from really either player, and game number 2 will be underway shortly. But in the meantime, we will talk about the Star City Games Summer Sale. The new one is here. Started a little bit ago, about 20 minutes ago. We got 25% off of select full art basic lands. So Unglued, Unhinged, some from Zendikar as well. Definitely head over to the website and check those out. I know people are big fans of lands, and 25% off of select full art basic lands is a pretty big deal. StarCityGames.com all month long, as we're going to have a new summer sale every single day beginning at 11 a.m. and it is for 24 hours only. So the one that we showed you yesterday, that's over and done with. This is our new one right now. Again, StarCityGames.com for more information. Are you an unhinged or an unglued guy, as far as lands are concerned?
I usually just play beat-up lands from whatever core set I drafted recently.
Tell me you're not serious.
No, I actually do that one.
God.
Sometimes they match. Like 3 of them might match.
How are you this way? You don't care about what land you
No,
play?
it actually came from a thing where during playtesting, I would proxy an entire deck because we proxied a lot of decks. But then I would actually keep the basic lands. I would use real basic lands because I just had a stock of basic lands.
Okay.
And then it kind of just came to think that when I would actually then switch over and decide what deck I wanted to play at a PT or at a big event and switch over to the real deck, I kind of thought it was a fitting thing where whatever like basic lands I'd used for playtesting, I'd actually use those lands for the actual deck. And then I would replace all the proxies with the real cards.
All right, what you're saying makes sense.
It was kind of a symbolic thing. I thought it was nice.
I don't approve, but what you're saying makes sense. Just to beat up old junkers?
I mean, sometimes it depends on whatever I grabbed when I made the proxy deck. If they were nice lands, which I usually didn't do, but sometimes might have accidentally done, then that's what we'd use.
Like, I assumed that, you had like some really nice lands for like your Scape Shift deck or like
those
your high
don't play
type decks.
Yeah. I mean,
like a couple basics.
I mean, like in my Amulet deck, almost all the lands are foiled.
Okay,
But the forest is junk. It's only one.
You don't have like one really nice forest that you're really proud of to search for?
I think it's a basic Japanese one from I don't remember what set it's from. Nothing notable.
This is a lot for me to take in. I'm really big on what lands I play. It's super important to me. I should probably be more focused on, like
It's like
winning.
it's like saying your lands have battle scars, saying like it made it through the proxying and like the playtesting, and now it earns the right to be in your deck.
They're ready for the big show.
Yeah.
Okay. I've not heard this thought process, but for what it's worth, I can understand it.
It's not. I'm not just trolling my opponent. How's that? We're not
right.
just playing ugly things to piss off people.
Okay, I kind of wish you were. That
I'm
makes it
not
more
above
fun.
doing that. That's a different statement.
Bryant is going to take a mulligan. It looks like Zachary is happy with his 7. I'm a big fan of unhinged lands.
Actually, the interesting one is I play really nice lands in limited. So I went through all the different arts and just ordered, found out what my favorite art ever printed for each basic was. I meant it had to be new card face.
Okay.
And then I, ordered 50 of each of them, and I just always play with matching art for my limited decks. So it's like the cloud planes from Kamigawa. There's one that was like the suns behind the clouds. It's a John Avon island. I don't know. I can tell you the arts for each of them, but yeah.
Okay. See, I had a feel. Everyone has it in them with the lands that they play. They're very specific on which ones that they like.
Yeah. They're from different sets. I was just like, these are the ones I thought were the prettiest.
Bryant is going to take a mulligan down to 5 now in the cook-off.
It's kind of catchy, isn't it?
It's growing on me. There are some cook puns to be had here. I'm typically not. I'm not the type to really be doing puns. It's not really my thing. I like to kind of reference obscure things and see if people get it at home.
Got 2 cooks. See who has the better brew here.
See, yep.
Yeah.
That's not me. That's you can have that. That's not me. But cook-off is kind of fun to say.
Yeah. Well, anyway, Storm seems like a recipe for success today.
I hate everything right now.
Well, Zach is down the first game in this matchup. He also, for the record, he is in sole position in 3rd place right now at 9-1-1.
Yeah.
So he's in 3rd. We know Dylan Donegan in 2nd. Bryant Koch, sole undefeated player.
Yep. He's got a 5-card hand that he is happy enough with. Mr. Reinforcement Sacrifice. Zachary will go down to 19, and there's a Noble Hierarch to start things off yet again. Bryant will take a draw step. Has a copy of Duress in hand, also a Xantid Swarm over there.
All right, so he has gone to the Xantid Swarm on the sideboard as well.
Here's Gataxian Probe. Let's see that hand, Zachary.
Yeah, is it fast or is it controlling a little bit of each?
Yeah, you got an Invigorate, a Brainstorm, a Flusterstorm, along with the Verdant Catacombs, and a Wooded Foothills. So it is definitely somewhere in between.
For an Infect deck, Zach has had very few creatures with the ability Infect in these games. By that, I mean he hasn't found one either time.
That's what that Brainstorm is going to have to do now.
Yeah, I mean, basically, that's one of the many reasons Brainstorm's an excellent card. One of the reasons Brian's just going to take it here is that when you see hands like, hey, turn 1 Noble Hierarch, Brainstorm, fetch land, and I don't care what else. Yeah, seems like a keeper. So a key duress there from Bryant.
Noble Hierarch's going to come across for 1. Zachary with just a Verdant Catacombs and a passing the turn. Bryant will take a draw step. All he can do is pass the turn back. Wooded Foothills in for 1 yet again is Zachary.
And you could say Bryant is mana screwed, but at the same time, that's just not how Storm works.
Here's Cabal Therapy.
Yep, this will force a counterspell from Zach. Probably just the Flusterstorm, because Bryant will name Flusterstorm if it resolves.
Yeah, I think Bryant has a lot more interest in naming Flusterstorm than any pump spells. So, yep, Flusterstorm will take care of that. And I mean, what this is going to do is it hides Zach's hand.
Yeah, and Zach actually has drawn a Dispel since then, so it's a pretty relevant hand to hide.
Another attack for 1. I think Zachary picked up a copy of Glistener Elf.
Oh, wow. Creatures with Infect. What a treat. Turns out he does play them.
All Bryant can do is pass the turn back.
Now, this will hit for 2 Infect a turn plus that Invigorate, and maybe he has a second one. Or
I think he might have a
Berserk.
Berserk, yeah. That works just fine.
That's 10.
Yep. Zachary Koch going to win game number 2 here over Bryant Koch in the cook-off Infect and Storm getting ready for game number 3. See, now I'm trying to think of cook-off type things to say.
Yeah, you're gonna go for it.
Yeah.
You're gonna go, all right.
The word simmering is in my head right now, and there's, I'm really reaching here. I can really feel it. So I guess in the meantime, we'll talk about the Star City Games YouTube page, where you'll be able to find a replay of Matthias and I talking about the cook-off. You can watch the cook-off replay and versus Series Archives, Premium Archives, Open Series Archives like this fantastic match we're watching, and specific content simply for our YouTube page, like the unboxings with Evan Irwin, Chris Van Meter, Brian Braun-Duin, and much more. YouTube.com/StarCityGames video. Free to subscribe, watch as much as you'd like, and be one of over 60,000 subscribers to our YouTube page. Again, youtube.com/StarCityGames video. As we do get ready here for game number 3 of the match between Zachary and Bryant Koch. If you have not seen the deck tech with Bryant Koch yet on our coverage page, I recommend that you do. He gets to show off some of his beautiful Storm cards, as most of his deck is foil at this point. He's got the nicest versions of everything possible because, well, he loves Storm. He has a website dedicated to Storm. His Twitter handle is The Epic Storm. He is Storm through and through, and he is 11-0 so far this weekend.
Yes, Brew's got some good spice to it in his Storm deck.
Yeah, trying out some new cards. Dark Petition in the sideboard, for example. Card from Magic Origins. We saw him actually use that in a Wish Chain to be able to win the game, so good on him. And after this round of coverage is over, we'll go over our metagame breakdown.
Yeah, seeing just what it was that made it into day 2. A lot of the expected decks near the top.
Bryant, one of 5 Storm players. Zachary Koch, one of 10 Infect players.
That's a huge number for Infect.
Yeah. 123 players in a day 2 here. I see now Twitter is rolling in with the Koch puns. With Zachary down a game, do you think he's in hot water?
Oh, that one's good.
Yeah.
All right.
He's tied things up now. You might say they're playing real kitchen table Magic. That one not as good.
Oh, I don't know. That might be my favorite one, actually.
You could say Bryant is cooking up a storm with his deck. Twitter, you are truly adorable. You make what we do worth doing. Zachary's going to take a mulligan this time. Again, mulligans are just going to happen, I think, a decent amount in this matchup because both players are just trying to kill the other one as fast as possible. So players are going to try to mulligan for optimal hands. We saw Zachary mulligan a couple times in the first game, Bryant mulligan a couple times in the second game, and now Zachary is going back to the well here for the third game while Bryant is waiting patiently.
Talked before about the kind of things that Zachary has to mulligan to. Game 1, we saw him keep a double Invigorate hand. He was missing an Infect creature, but the upside was that he could race the Storm deck. Had a couple draws to do so. When he didn't, Bryant was able to use Cabal Therapy to dismantle his hand. Game 2, Bryant took some mulligans, kept a heavy Ritual hand that was light on lands. Didn't hit his land in time, and Zachary had a quick kill. Bryant will be back on the play for game 3, though. Play draw from Bryant's side doesn't seem to matter as much in this matchup. It really seems like the reason Bryant would want to be on the play is that means Zachary isn't.
Yeah.
Bryant's hands will be about, their speed is about the same regardless on player draw. But because Zachary's the slower deck, he needs that extra tempo.
6 cards here for Zachary. We'll see if he can find a 6 that he likes. There's at least one land over there in Tropical Island. Force of Will in hand, too. He'll keep it. We're underway. It's an Underground Sea. There's a Brainstorm.
And we've
Thumbs up.
seen Bryant do this before, the turn 1 main phase Brainstorm. When a Storm player is doing this, the general tell on this is that means there's a possibility that he has a turn 1 play.
Yep.
Not that he'll have to do it, because he was likely going to catch the cantrip anyway.
But things can line up in a certain way.
Right, it's worth doing. see ad nauseum and being put back. He has Infernal Tutor in hand.
The thing about Bryant is he knows all the iterations with his deck, so he knows that if I brainstorm into these cards, I can kill you on turn 1, even possibly through a card like Force of Will. Okay, Lotus Petal now. Yeah. Xantid Swarm, perhaps? Yes.
All right, and throwing Xantid Swarm. Is that going to get the Force of Will from Zachary?
It basically has to.
He has a Force of Will to dispel. The hard part is if he makes this play, that was all his game.
Yep. As far as permission's concerned.
Right. So the shields are down now. Now that Zachary's burned through his blue spells, he's going to hope that his green spells can race Bryant's combo.
There's Glistener Elf. No Noble Hierarch this time. A Duress. And there goes the pump spell. 2 Inkmoth Nexus left.
And no second land for Bryant.
Spell Pierce to draw here for Zachary. And
Huge
for 1.
draw.
Absolutely.
And these poison will add up relatively fast here. Zachary will be able to leave up the Spell Pierce. And we'll start hitting for 2 poison a turn.
Chrome Mox.
See where Zachary chooses to play the Spell Pierce. My guess would be the first Ritual is the correct play for this.
Oftentimes it is.
But he'll go a step further. He'll go for the Chrome Mox. Now, I don't know. It's an interesting play. I wouldn't have minded letting Bryant imprint something on the Chrome Mox. Make him lose 2 cards there.
Bryant's having some mana issues. Now the question is, can he work his way out of it? Ad nauseum was the draw. Ponder, I believe, the draw here for Koch.
Yep. Zachary ponders. He does have another blue mana in his hand. So if he can find something like a Spell Pierce, he can keep it. He found Vines of Vastwood. Now, it's interesting because if he keeps the Vines, he has Bryant dead next turn.
Yep.
But that's it.
I think it's too good to pass up. I do think you want to put it 1 down, though, so you don't open yourself to a discard spell.
Zachary will make the same play.
Wooded Foothills was the draw. Play the Tropical Island, pass the turn back.
So he has Bryant to 5 poison. He has him dead next turn. But Bryant draws Lotus Petal. Maybe that's the only mana source he needed.
Yes, Chrome Mox got countered. Nope.
And this could go towards Zachary Koch. He could be the first loss for Bryant this tournament.
The thing here, if you're Zachary, I think you don't have a choice. I think you just have to go for it.
Yep. Vines on Glistener Elf. That makes it a 5-5.
In we go.
1 more, and there you have it. Zachary Koch takes the match.
He'll beat Bryant Koch 2-1. Infect will take care of Storm, and the cook-off goes to the player on the left. Congratulations, Zachary Koch. 10-1-1. Now in our Legacy Open here from DC. Keep in mind, as we mentioned right at the top of the match, Zachary Koch has top 8 at both of our Legacy Opens this year with Infect, and he's looking to top 8 the 3rd one. He's 10-1-1 with 3 rounds left to go. He is in great shape to accomplish that goal.
And for Bryant, moves down to 11-1. The 12th win should lock the top 8 for him, so he's going to have 3 more chances at that.